Hello, everyone. Welcome in, welcome in. How's it going? Let's get this pinned up real quick. Boom. All right. Welcome in, everyone. Hello. This is Astrology Saturday with your host with the most, Chad the Maverick. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. How's it all going? How's this Virgo season been going for everyone? Welcome in. We're going to get started up in a couple minutes. Just want to have some people flood in. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Chad, also known as Chad the Maverick. I'm an astrology teacher here at House of Intuition. I teach classes every single Monday at 6 p.m. PST, where I go through different topics of astrology and break down exactly how it's going, how it works, how to understand it from a core level. All my classes are an hour long. They're through Zoom as well. So just feel free to check those out. I'll be mentioning more of that later on. And did your affirmations all this weekend? Well, what I say. If you were here from the last one, I'm so happy, yo. If you're here from the last one, I was telling you to make sure that you put down your affirmations, because that's what Virgo season is really about, is making sure that you write things down. And this Pisces full moon is what's really kicking off at the midpoint of this week. And that's what's going to start wrapping all of the themes that have been going on since Virgo season began together. So, happy birthday to all the Virgos once more. Hello, welcome back. Welcome to everyone that's new. And so we're about to get started in about a second. Last thing, all my social media from Instagram, Twitter, etc. is all going to be Chad the Maverick. In case you wanted to know, I also have the links to my classes on my website, chadthemaverick.com. I run services and readings as well. I'll read your individual natal chart, giving you a definitive and core lesson on your whole entire chart, so you can understand the basis of everything and then really kick into the energies that you naturally have and carry. So yeah, for sure. Now, without further ado, allow me to begin. So I wanted to start this off by saying rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. And the reason why I want to say rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman is because this person was a huge icon. This is something that just came through, really shook up the collective. I know for me personally, that was my first superhero I ever seen representative of me on the screen, and for a lot of other people. And he was just a very beautiful soul who has graced us with his presence and has allowed us to really see beyond what we just would normally see as far as that's concerned. So I wanted to just put my wishes out for him. If anyone wants to light a candle for him or just put out good intentions for him during his transition, feel more than free to. I know I'm doing so myself, and just the general that is concerned. It's a hard thing to just take in, I know, for a lot of people. So just wanted to start that out with this. And I also want to start out with something that kind of leads into this Pisces full moon. So yesterday, after hearing the news, a lot of people started to obviously send posts and bring things out that he has said in the past before. And there's this one speech that he gave, and I remember when it first came out, and I saw it personally, and I believe it was at Howard University. It was a graduation. And in this speech, what he was saying was, the way that the universe, the way that God works is the way that it happens is whatever is meant for you is meant for you. If there's something that you do and you work towards, and there's something along that path that's meant for you, and you take the more complicated path and not the easy path in order to go for it, and in order to do it and get it done, it's going to pull through. It's meant for you, and this is your time now to understand that it's meant for you. And I think that was a very beautiful tie-in to not only a representation of his life, but the tie-in into the energies that's actually coming up for this ongoing week, which is miraculous. And I don't want to get too much into it, but I do want to just start off with sending my blessings and energies out and intentions with that, as well as tying in that is really what this whole week is kind of showing. He battled 4 years of having cancer, and he was playing Black Panther, and nobody knew. And so it's just that amount of work, that amount of love, and knowing that it is meant for him, that was meant for him to do. And he kept it going, and he did that and pushed that through. It's just an amazing thing. So that's like I said, that's a very highlighted as far as this whole Virgo season and this full moon in Pisces is also concerned. But I just wanted to, like I said, start off with that just to make sure that was through. Anywho, cool. I had to give my condolences. I have to. So outside of that, right? Let's talk about the full moon in Pisces. So what the full moon in Pisces is really representing and what's really coming through is that for this full moon, this is one of the most magical full moons that we ever have. Like, but Pisces full moon is like the full culmination of whatever magic is going on in the world. What Pisces represents, where like Aquarius is like outer space, Pisces represents the outer of outer space. It represents this like the emotional pull. It represents intuition. It represents psychic nature. It represents emotions. It represents empathy. It represents all of those type of things, all at the same time. It's like the outer layer of everything. So with this Pisces full moon coming in, what's happening is there's going to be a lot of endings as far as what the ego would want to do. One thing, like, it's still ringing through in my head with what Chadwick Boseman said, and he said, "What's meant for you is meant for you," and that's why it shook me up hearing that, especially knowing what the energy's coming on, because it's like that's what's meant for you. Is it possible to already be feeling these effects? Yes, 100% is. Part of that has to do with the astrology of today, which I'm going to break down shortly, but I just want to touch on the full moon first. So the full moon is pretty much like coming through and cleaning house on top of all this Virgo energy. And if you have seen my live streams, if you have been paying attention, shouts out to y'all, because you've been writing down your affirmations. You've been writing down the things that you want to do, what you want to accomplish and get done. You've been writing your plans out. You've been just making sure that you've been nice to yourself, and as far as like speaking good things upon you. And that's really starting to come through now. But here's the thing, and here's the energy for today, right? So for this Saturday, what's coming through is that we're having the moon in Capricorn go through Jupiter, Saturn, as well as Pluto. So this is what my good friend the Peace Dealer has termed the gauntlet. So the moon's going through the gauntlet, right? And with this whole idea and with this whole energy that's happening, we're getting very much tapped into our more serious natures, our more stoic natures, right? Chad the Maverick is my handle for anyone that just showed up, and that's everything across the board, including my website as well. So the way that all of this ends up working, right, is that with the moon going past all of these heavy energies, and this is the energy that has been making heavy shifts for a lot of us, right? We also have Mercury trining Virgo. So the whole idea behind Mercury in Virgo trining Jupiter and Capricorn. So the whole idea is this: you are literally in the position to write your reality. But in order for your reality to come in, and in order for your reality to work, you have to write it down. You have to put it down, pen to paper, intention to the ground. And then come the full moon in Pisces, you have to let that intention go. And that's kind of going in, because as you let that intention go, you'll start to notice in very subtle ways these things working in your life. Virgo's a very magic energy, but it's a very subtle energy. It's not something that's going to pop out. Sagittarius is the pop out energy, like where, hey, this is in your face, abracadabra, woo, like that's what Sagittarius is. Gemini will make like certain moves, but the whole idea is the way that this ends up working, you have to use your subtleties of what you want to create in order to actually create the thing. And someone said, the energy sounds intense. It is. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not. And that's the reason why I feel like I get so adamant on trying to explain what's going on, because it is a very intense energy that has been going on. And we've seen it all throughout this year. So the main thing that I'm trying to do and help y'all with is just so you can understand how each day is going, so you can be in charge of the energy, and the energy doesn't just happen to you. You get where I'm coming from? So shouts out to y'all for being here. So today is it is going to be going through, because what's happening is we're really tapping into our sense of what do we deem serious? What do we want to take ourselves seriously for? What do we want to be seen seriously as? This is a time for like really setting in how we feel and what we know that we want to create, because what we want to create is going to be created as long as we make sure that we write it down, or as we make sure that we put it to paper, when we make sure that we treat ourselves in our full health, and we treat ourselves in our full care. That's what's really going to be coming through as far as like what this energy is coming through today, right? So it is a little bit stoic. It's not like a super like hoorah energy. It's not. But it can be. And the whole idea is when it can be is when you make sure that you take the time out to you and make sure that you are putting your ducks in a row for whatever ends up coming next. So that's something that's coming through as far as what today is concerned, right? So moving on, we're going to Sunday, which is tomorrow, right? We're going to have the Mercury in Virgo opposite Neptune in Pisces. So here's the thing. With all this affirmation, with all of this stuff, especially if you're new to trying to manifest things, if you're very new to trying to like bring in these energies yourself, there's going to be a moment of doubt. And the whole idea behind this moment of doubt that ends up happening is just like, man, like, is this really going to happen? Like, is what I'm writing really going to come true? It is. But the whole idea is the universe has to first send you this test of character. It has to send you this test of, hey, like, are you sure this is what you want? You ever like try to exit out of a window on a computer and you know that you want to just close it, but like it doesn't close and it's just like, are you sure you want to close this browser? Like, and it's like the yes or no, and you have to make sure you hit either yes or no. So the whole idea is, are you sure that you want to continue this manifestation? Are you sure all the things that you were saying about yourself and making yourself to feel is real? Are you sure about all these things? And you need to click yes. You know, like you're gonna be like, I don't know. It's like Neo in the Matrix. I mentioned the Matrix beforehand because Neo, the character Neo, is a Virgo. So the whole idea was like red pill, blue pill. Are you going to reality or are you going to the real world? So the whole idea is like you have to take what you need to go towards, right? You need to go towards your truth in order to create your reality the right way. Like you need to go to your truth. Whatever that truth ends up being, if you have to take time out to meditate on it, if you have to take time out to like sit with it, if you have to hop into a house of intuition, grab some crystals that resonate with you, grab a candle that resonates with you, especially for this full moon coming up, please grab the full moon candle if you're in LA or if you have some time in order to do that, you know what I'm saying? Make sure that you get that because this full moon is going to be very critical as far as like bringing in that energy that you want, especially not just for the upcoming year or the end of this year, like the upcoming next year. That's how potent this full moon is in this capacity, right? So another thing I want to mention about tomorrow, we have Venus in Cancer opposing Pluto in Capricorn. So it's a similar thing, right? We know what we love, we know what we feel, but there's going to be a test where it's like, is this really what you love? Is this really what you want to be nurtured with? Is this really what you want to do? And when it says, are you sure? Click yes. Because that's what you want to do. You can't let fear rule you in your decision making because this isn't a time for fear. This is a time for your bravery. That's what all the Leo season was just about, was tapping you into your bravery. What this season is about is making sure you put your bravery to pen. Make sure that you put your bravery into the world by you creating it yourself. You get what I'm coming from? And that's where that whole energy and vibe ends up coming in from, is like, write that down. It's your written word. Do with it. So that's basically that. My fault. I got a call for a second. But the whole idea behind this, right? The moon is also going to be going into Aquarius. So with the moon making it shift into Aquarius as this is happening, what's happening is that the seriousness that we're doing, we're going to start to find this this integration of our own personal knowledge, this cosmic sense of knowledge that we've obtained, right? Once we get past just that little part of are you sure, you click yes, later on they're going to be like, well, here's the first steps for it, right? And that's going to be leading us into the new moon. So even on Monday, the moon's still going to be in Aquarius, right? So with this moon in Aquarius, you're going to be finding new ways to use your intellect, new ways to use the things that you already know on a deep core level, on a deep DNA, deep down level. And you're going to be like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to create. And this is how I'm going to go about it. And I'm not going to go about it directly the way that everyone else is trying to tell you about it. You know what I'm saying? If you have placements there and anything that I'm saying, this just goes doubly for you. This is like even more critical as far as you like using and utilizing this energy that's happening before this Pisces full moon. So now what I'm about to do is break down the full moon in Pisces, which is coming up this Tuesday night into all of Wednesday, right? So what this full moon in Pisces is all about. it's about the letting go. And the whole idea is you need to, all the things that you wrote, all the things that you want, all the things that you do, you have to surrender into the vibes. You have to surrender into that. No, keep in mind, you have to keep yourself grounded, but you have to surrender all of the things that you can't necessarily control right in your hand. The things that aren't just right here for you, you have to let go of the fact that they're not are like here right now, because they're coming to you. They're what's meant for you is meant for you. Just to touch back on the Chadwick Boseman speech, like he literally said, it doesn't matter, like you're going to be guided towards it as long as you end up taking the path. The harder path, the more challenging path, is making sure that you are making your own reality. That's the harder path. The harder path is being like, hey, I'm actually in control of what's going on in my life. I mean, some things you can't necessarily control, but you can still control how you respond to those reactions. And the whole idea behind that is like, what's meant for you is coming to you as soon as you break that down. Surrender requires vulnerability. Facts. And that's the thing. You have to be vulnerable enough with how you really feel. Not how you think you feel, not how someone told you to feel, not how you should feel, because that's how you should feel, like how you feel. You get where I'm coming from? Because your feelings are going to be what's most critical coming this full moon. So that's the whole idea behind it. And you will feel things. I'm not going to like sit here and act like you won't. That's what it's for, though. And the whole idea behind this, too, is that Mercury, once again, Mercury has been helping us out this last 2 weeks, right? Once you start rocking with Mercury, or realize Mercury has been rocking with you this whole time, Mercury on the full moon day, right, is going to be trying Pluto and Capricorn, which is what? Transformation. Pluto and Capricorn is a transformation of how you deem your character. You get where I'm coming from? So whatever you write becomes your character. Whatever you create becomes your character. And how do you become this character that you want to be? How do you become this character that you know that you are inside? By letting go of the old that doesn't fit, by letting go of that part of you that is too locked up, of letting go of whatever isn't right for you in that time. Once more, surrender does require vulnerability. So the more that you're able to surrender to the flow, surrender to the vibe, surrender all the things that happen, the more that your new character that you've been bringing, the new energy, the new vibe, the new strength that you've been building up, this whole past 2 seasons, this whole year, as a matter of fact, this has been a year that has been tapping people more into themselves than ever before. You know what I'm saying? The whole world froze for months on end. And, you know, obviously people have different processes, but the whole idea is when the whole world froze for a while, well, you had nothing left to do but tap into you. So you know who you are at this point. You know what you stand for at this point. The whole idea behind this is letting go of the other BS, all the other stuff that doesn't sit with you, all the stuff that doesn't serve you anymore. Virgo is the placement in the sign of servitude, what serves you, what doesn't serve you. Let go of what doesn't serve you. And the Pisces full moon is going to pretty much magically bring you to the next thing. I wrote in the newsletter that I do for Pink Cat, which will be on my story sometime later today, where this is very akin to like a genie's energy. A genie's like, hey, here are these rules, here are 3 wishes, what you wishing for? Like, but you can't, the whole idea behind this like wishful energy, this wish fulfillment energy, is that you can't spend your wishes on other people. You have to spend wishes on what's going to serve you. You get where I'm coming from? And that's why I'm so adamant about like write down what it is that you want to manifest, affirm what you want to manifest, affirm the vibes that you want to bring into your life and have in your life. You can write down several things at once. You can write a whole page. You can write as little as 3 sentences. Whatever ends up fitting with you and what you want to like get across is what's most important. That's the main thing that I have to say. Everyone's personal magic works different. Everyone's personal vibe works different. And the big reason why everyone's vibe is different is because of their natal chart. I'm going to throw my little pin in, right? I run natal chart services. I have them all on my website, chatthemaverick.com. But the whole idea behind me even reading people's charts is so they can learn their own energy. So then you can know, like, really, like, hey, maybe I should write down all of this stuff and write out 3 pages. Or you could be like, nah, I'm just going to sit here and do it through my mind. But it really does depend, because like you can have a different Mercury, you can have a different Mars. But I break all of that down in every reading I basically do, just to give people the core level of that. So shameless plug-in, get you a reading for this full moon. I also started to, I just added to my site yesterday as well, persona chart readings. And what a persona chart is if you are familiar with astrology and there's like a placement that you knew about, but you don't necessarily 100% know how it works, I break down the birth chart of that specific planet. I break down that birth chart of your rising sign. So you end up getting like the full thing. Like, so you just understand how it is, and then you're able to use it and work yourself and work through that, because that's what the vibe comes from. You get where I'm coming from? It's always inside you. That's the main thing too. Anyway, before I get too rung off into just the full moon, the next day, right, which is still going to be the full moon energy. So like the full moon energy is going to pretty much be going until my next live stream, because that's just how full moons end up working, right? So the way that is going to be moving into Wednesday, right, we're going to have the sun in Virgo making its trine to Uranus and Taurus. What's this? Dramatic shifts in value. You just manifested your character. You just brought out your character. Now your value system has to change to work with the character that you just built. So now your values are becoming different. Now you're stepping into a different sense of how you want to feel your worth. You get where I'm coming from? And that's going to be based off of the things that you were writing, the affirmations you were making. Mercury in Virgo is going to be squaring the North Node in Gemini, right? So it's almost the way that this kind of works out. The North Node is destiny, and the North Node has been in Gemini for a while. Hence why communications have been more prominent. Hence why people are very much set on speaking their own mind in a way different way. So the whole idea is with this making this the square to Mercury and Virgo, right? Once more, it's like you're still pushing these things forward, but a part of you is going to be like, I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's a challenge. And the challenge is to push through the I don't know, because you just did all of the work. Like, there's no reason to like freak out now. You did it. Like, at that point, you've done it. You have brought it through. You get where I'm coming from? And that's the thing about it, is like, although the universe is coming through, even one more time, Venus in Cancer, opposite Saturn in Capricorn. That's a heavy thing. But the whole idea is, with that, it's the testing of, it's basically like, I'm going to use a superhero for example. So like, if someone's trying to become, or if there's like a superhero in a movie and such like that, right? They end up training, they're trying to figure it out. But there comes a time where they have their first big battle, or they have their first big run-in with something, right? And there's a moment, and it might not even work. Let's say they don't do it. Let's say it doesn't work. Let's say it falls through, and they're like, oh man. There's a time where they have to sit down and be like, do I really want to do this thing or not? Like, I have all this thing. I have everything here. I have everything to build for it. But now I'm faced with a little bit of challenge. Like, is it worth going through that challenge? Is it worth me continuing on with this? And then when it really boils down to it, it's like, I want to help the people. I want to save people. I want to serve the people. Virgo season. Get where I'm coming from? That's the Virgo energy that's pulling through. So now it's like, okay, let's take all of that together. And yes, there is going to be a little bit of struggle, but the whole idea behind a little bit of struggle is because no one told you that you can do it. No one ever sat there and was like, you can literally do anything. I mean, maybe they have. And if they have told you that you can literally do anything, they still might have even put a little bit of limit on it. Like, you can do anything, but I don't know about that part. Or, hey, you can totally do whatever you want in your dreams, but I don't know about that. I'm here telling you can do that. It's a matter of how you build your reality. And that's what this whole week is about. The building of reality and the letting go of what you built so you can just become it. I got a couple more minutes left, but if there's nothing else you heard, it's that right there. So, moving on, right? We're going into Thursday. Once again, Mercury and Virgo coming through. That's the end. Mercury and Virgo is about to end, by the way. Mercury and Virgo is going to be done by the end of this week. That's why I'm stressing out, making sure that you put all this stuff down. So the whole idea, right, is that Mercury and Virgo is going to be working with Saturn and Cap, solidifying on Thursday, around Thursday, solidifying everything that you were working on And whatever that you kept holding on to is going to solidify that. So it's just the challenge is going to be, what can you keep bringing through? What can you keep pushing through that you know is supposed to be working with you? What resonates with your heart? What resonates with your mind? And what you want to keep making for yourself? And come Friday, right? This is the last Mercury and Virgo energy that we're going to have. I mean, like, continue to write down the affirmations. The affirmations don't stop. Please continue to do that. But that's when, it's not as just straight up potent. You get where I'm coming from? That's just how, like, the transits are working. They're still going to work. But right now is where the main potency of all of that's coming in. So, you are the universe. Your energy can be applied to anything. Facts. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's pretty much where that's coming in. So the whole idea, right? On Friday too, we have Venus in Cancer making a square to Mars in Aries, where it's like, what are your expectations around you versus what is it that you want to actually push out and do? Now, there can be a little bit of communication. There can be a little bit of, figuring out what's the middle ground, figuring out what you can end up doing. But that's just how that energy is going to be going. But the whole idea is you have already created this new value system. You've already stepped into your new character. You've already brought in all this energy, and the Pisces full moon is making these things happen miraculously and low key. So that's how beautiful it is. What's the best day to do the affirmations? Every day. Like, literally every day until at least the end of this week. Like, I'm telling you, it's going to send that out. And you can write down the same thing. You can write down different things. When you write down your affirmations, do you keep them, burn them, bury them? You can burn them on the full moon if you want to. Please make sure that you're safe. Please make sure there's like a bowl of water underneath, or like something just in case type deal, especially if you're out in California. Don't need any of that. You know what I'm saying? But the whole idea is like making sure that I keep mine for the most part, unless I'm doing something specific, but for the most part you end up keeping it, because affirmations are programming for your subconscious, and your subconscious is what? The magic behind everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole other conversation. I'm gonna break those down deeper in like certain classes that I do. So if anyone doesn't know, feel free to come to my classes. I run one every Monday, 6 p.m. PST. They're only $10, and I go off for like an hour about whatever that topic is, and I break it down, as you can say, like, I use analogies. I break it down at a core level so you can like comprehend what's going on. From whether you're advanced to a beginner, I still make it, tangible enough for you to understand. So, last thing, right? Well, just to sum this all up in a sense, this week up, is that this Mercury and Virgo energy is about to go. You get where I'm coming from? Like, this is the last of it. And then we're going to be going into Mercury and Libra, which is what next live stream is going to be about. Whereas all of this information is going to now be like, hey, I figured out all of this energy. I figured out all these things about myself. Now I'm going to start working on who am I going to partner with? Who am I going to work with this newfound sense of my mind, with this newfound sense of my confidence, with this newfound sense of everything that's going on, right? So that's the whole idea behind that. Once more, for anyone who's still here, thank you first and foremost for staying with me this whole entire time. I really do appreciate y'all. Once again, that comment at the bottom is funny. But the whole idea behind this, right, is that the whole way that this ends up working out is you just got to tap into you. You got to tap into you, write it all out. If you need help as far as like figuring out your own energy or where to start, like I said, I run my readings. I run destiny readings. I make them affordable too. I really strive to try and make my readings as affordable, because like I want to be able to make it work for whoever's like has it already, or whoever's like a college student and they just got some money for their, you know what I'm saying, some money for their birthday or something, and they want to get something for themselves. Your phone may have died, but this live stream is going to stay on the House of Intuition page. It's going to be on my page on Instagram as well, and it's also going to be on my YouTube, all Chad the Maverick. You want to find anything on it, Chad the Maverick. So that's pretty much the way that that ends up working. Once again, I appreciate y'all being here. ChadTheMaverick.com is my website. Chad the Maverick is my IG, YouTube, whatever it is that you want to find. But how do you sign up for the readings? I have it. This on my website. It's underneath services. You click on services, and I end up doing an audio recording for you, so you can keep the audio recording and you can listen back to it at any time. that's pretty much the way that those are set up, and I break it down so it works out that way. It's just the way that ends up going. So once again, appreciate you all for showing up. Please sign up for the classes that I'm doing on Mondays as well. And feel free to check in next week at the same exact time, where I'm going to be breaking down again the energies that are going on for next week. So until next time, have a great full moon. Stay safe, stay beautiful, stay blessed. And yeah, until next time, have a good